Could you tell me some of your background?
Sure. I grew up down in Warren. I grew up on a farm down in Warren, out by 69, 5, 124. Moved to Huntington in 1977. Lived there ever since. I worked in Huntington. I worked for Mel Disco back in the 70s. I worked for, I left there and went to work in Fort Wayne, a couple trucking companies. Started my own business in 2000 with a sales and marketing firm that I started, doing contract sales and marketing work for people. And then I opened a bike shop in 2011 and have been commissioner for 7 years. So.
Okay, if you're elected mayor, what are your primary focuses going to be?
I just want to focus on conservative, Republican, traditional projects. And by that I mean paying down debt, running city government lean, focusing on the basics and getting back to the basics of what I think local government does and does best. And that's streets, utilities, police, fire, and quality. Focus on those things, do it really well. And I think we've gotten away from that, and I want to focus on those areas.
In the debate, you talked about the tax rate in Huntington. So, and you want to lower that tax rate,
Yeah, I
right?
think it hurts us, yes.
So, what makes you think that will make Huntington competitive again with the other cities?
Well, our tax rate is one of the highest in northern Indiana. I think the city tax rate's $2.36 100. The total tax rate, when you include the city with the schools, the township, the county, and the library, it's $4.13. That's double what a lot of neighboring communities are. So it cripples us when we try to attract business, or even residents. When you're paying more money for taxes, that's less money you can put into your home, less money you can put into your business. Puts us in an unfair position in the marketplace. And I think if we can lower that tax rate and make us more competitive, you'll see the results bringing not just industry, but people back to Huntington.
Okay, so with the new police station downtown, there's a lot of citizens that are worried about the parking situation downtown.
Right.
So could you tell me what you do as mayor about the parking situation downtown?
Well, the police stations, they've broken ground. So there's nothing I can do about that at this point. That building is going up, and it's cutting into the parking area that we have. I think that does create an undue hardship for the merchants downtown, some of the businesses. I think the location could have been better, and I have ideas about that. But again, that's water under the bridge. As far as how we can alleviate parking downtown, we've got some buildings that, quite honestly, might be able to be removed and add parking spaces around the perimeter of the downtown area that we could utilize. And I don't know until we get in and actually, should I win the mayor's race, sit down and take a good long look at that. I know the city is paying for a traffic study now, or a parking study now, to address that. Maybe they'll come up with some better idea, but we'll just have to wait and see.
So you in the debate, you talked about the landfill and how you think it could have been saved,
Yes.
right? So if you're elected mayor, do you plan on doing a citywide cleanup, and do you plan on trying to save the landfill?
I don't think the landfill is salvageable at this point. IDEM pulled our operating license, or our permit to operate the landfill. I don't see them granting that back based on our past performance of that operation. I've seen the agreed order from the state. I think if it were managed correctly, it could have been open for another 20 to 40 years. We had 2 permitted areas that were closed. The other 2 permitted areas that were virtually open and had not been used, we surrendered as part of that agreed order. If we'd have managed it correctly, the landfill could still be open, it could still be bringing in revenue. As it is, we're spending $4 million to close that landfill with no revenue coming in. And we're gonna have to maintain that for another 30 years minimum. I can tell you that 30 years is not etched in stone, that could last forever. The city owned that, city's responsible for it. So as far as the spring cleanup or fall cleanup, I think it's a great idea. To be honest with you, I don't know what that's going to look like, but I think people appreciate that. I've heard a lot of people really want that program. And they have a brown bag program now for leaves and trimmings, but for just the household items, they have the sticker program for $5. And that's reasonable, that's affordable for a lot of people, but some it's not. And I think some type of cleanup, a neighborhood cleanup, once or twice a year is not a bad thing. And I definitely look at reinstituting that. Absolutely.
So if elected mayor, the city of Huntington has done a lot of outsourcing.
Yes.
If you're elected mayor, I mean, do you plan on changing that, and how do you plan to change it?
That's one of my priorities. I think, just as a county commissioner, when we do public works projects, whether it's roads or streets, paving, asphalt, chip and seal, or construction projects at the courthouse, the more you can do in-house, you can do it at cost, or say 5% over cost, and maintain that, and you can maximize your dollars. When you're relying on outside contractors or outside services, they're going to do it and they're going to make a profit. And that profit is going to be in excess of 20, 25, 30%. You're going to spend more dollars to get the same thing done. The more we can do in-house, we can save money, or at least leverage what we're doing with the contractors to maximize those dollars. If the contractors have no competition, then you're at their mercy. And we've seen that. We've seen that when we've done construction projects. The economy's rolling well right now. Everybody's working. You're at the mercy of the contractors, and the price has gone up significantly in the last 2 years. So we're paying for that. We have to be able to leverage that to be able to do a good portion of it in-house. And whether that's water department, pollution control, or streets and parks, we need to do that ourselves as much as we can. Yeah.
Do you plan on changing the trash pickup any, or just keep it at this?
That's the same situation. They're contracting it out with Advance right now.
Yeah.
And whoever is picking up the garbage is going to have the most influence on picking up that trash. It's just something you have to work out unless you take that back in-house. That would be an expensive proposition right now, because you'd have to go out and buy garbage trucks and retool that whole system. We're kind of committed in that direction, right or wrong. So we'll have to wait and see, what that contract looks like when it comes up for renewal, and then what that pricing and structure is going to look like. So.
Okay, so as a citizen, a lifelong citizen in Huntington, I've seen Heritage Days
Yes.
Slide down, go downhill. And so festivals that promotes community.
Right.
And it brings a sense of pride and community.
Sure.
So if you're elected as mayor, how do you plan on getting back the festival back to the way it was?
When I was on city council back in the 90s, the city council and the mayor actually paid and helped financially with the Heritage Days Parade with the Chamber of Commerce. At that time, if I remember right, I think it was $16,000 that we contributed. And we calculated that basically as $1 per person for the city of Huntington. We went through some financial hardships a couple administrations ago, and that was stopped. If I'm mayor, I would fund that again. I would fund that either through the chamber or, in some fashion to help that, because it is a city-wide celebration. It does bring people back to Huntington, and I think it's a huge benefit for the community, and well worthwhile, yeah.
Right, so you've talked about bringing more events downtown. Fettles has done that. Mayor Fettles has done that. Could you elaborate what you would do different with Fettles when it cut, because he has like the music thing going downtown?
I think the more we can bring downtown to support our local merchants and bring people back into the city, the better off we are. That is the backbone of our downtown. I know I've had several businesses express displeasure with this administration when they wanted to do something and they weren't allowed to. They weren't allowed to use the city parking lot, or they weren't allowed to close the streets. And I think we need to revisit that. I want to help as much as I can. I won't put any obstacles up. If they have a great idea, I'm going to work with them, especially on the weekends. You know, right here in Roanoke, we do it almost every weekend. They shut down downtown, and it's farmers market. It's, you know, we have parades, we have festivals, we have a lot of events going on in Roanoke, and we can do that in Huntington too. But I think the more you work with the merchants downtown, the restaurants, the bars, as long as it's good family entertainment and it's well controlled, I think we need to bring fun back into downtown, back into Huntington. Absolutely.
Okay, so back when I was growing up, teens had a lot to do in Huntington. We cruised around town and stuff, so there's a lot of people who want to know what you would do as mayor to give teenagers things to do.
Yeah. You know, I don't think government at any levels is in the entertainment business. I think if there's a way for a business to come involved with the community that services that demographic, those kids, that's fantastic. But that's between that business and the community. I don't think government's suited to pick and choose what's going to be popular, what's going to be good entertainment for those kids. I think we need to do a better job of parenting. I think we need to be more involved with our kids' lives. There's a lot of things to do in Huntington right now, if you're willing to go out and find it. But I don't think that's government's role, and I wouldn't be comfortable getting into the entertainment business.
So there seems to be a drug epidemic in
Yes.
Huntington, opioid use. As mayor, what would you do to combat that?
I think there is no magic answer to that, and I've been through countless meetings with state representatives, Andy Zay and Dan Leonard, people with the Awakening Church, and
It's a nationwide issue, right?
It's a nationwide issue, and it takes a lot. There's law enforcement has to address the problem, and as mayor, that's what I would have to do, is enforce the law. But as far as treatment and counseling, you can partner with these agencies and try to help as much as you can. The best thing is, like Barbara Bush said, just say no. The best way to stop it is not start, because the addiction is so strong, it controls their lives, and I don't think there's a family in Huntington that hasn't been affected in one way or another by that. All I can say is we have to enforce the laws, and we have to keep that off the streets and out of the neighborhoods. And I'll work with our police officers and public safety to do just that.
So as mayor of Huntington, what do you plan on doing about the debt? Because that's a major issue facing
The debt's broken up into two really different areas. There's debt that we had to take on with water and sewer and the combined sewer separation. That was about $40 million. That's funded by utilities and was mandated by the state and federal government. But there's another $10, $15 million that we bonded against that wasn't mandated by the state. And I'm talking about parks, trails in the UB building and the police station. We could have done a better job of spending money, and especially those TIF dollars could have been used to pay down sewer debt, water debt, infrastructure debt, and I would focus on that as mayor too. A better use of those TIF dollars for municipal and city projects and not private projects to get a better return on our investment.
So why should people vote for you to be the next mayor of Huntington?
Well, I've got a lot of experience. I've served on city council, I've served on county council, I've served 7 years as commissioner. I've got a proven track record of conservative politics and action. I've been able to maximize dollars for the county. And a good example is that annex building, where we bought the annex building for $200,000, refurbed it for another $200,000, and we have 14 acres and a state-of-the-art building. that was a great buy. We paid cash for it. We didn't have to finance it. We didn't bond it. And those are the things we can do, and I will do more of as mayor. I bring a business aspect to it. And again, I'm going to be conservative with tax dollars. I'm going to focus on the basic needs of the community and not so many wants. Lower that tax rate, better use of our tax dollar, our TIF monies, and kind of turn the city around and get it in a new direction. And I think that's what we need to do. And I think I can get that job done.